to make sure Britt's okay. Who is she?
You mean who was she? She's supposed to be dead.
General Hospital, GH. Spoilers hint that Drew Cain's Cameron Matheson, Ice Cold Danny Morgan, Asher and Tonneson move will bring Jason Morgan's Steve Burton wrath. Another fierce brother face-off could be brewing, so GH fans won't want to miss all the action. Jason is used to Drew's antics by now and tends to ignore him most of the time. However, the one thing that really gets under Jason's skin is Drew's mistreatment of Danny. That's surely a big reason why Drew stood his ground on Danny's restraining order. During Drew's recent negotiation with Alexis Davis, Nancy Lee Grahn, he refused to budge when it came to keeping Jason's son away from Scout Quartermain, Cosette Abinante. Alexis obviously doesn't like the idea of Scout and her big brother being kept apart, but she had to take what she could get. In the end, Alexis struck the deal, so she can see Scout along with Molly Lansing Davis, Kristen Vaganos, Christina Corinthos Davis, Kate Monsey, and Rocco Falconeri, Finn Carr. Of course, that doesn't make it any better for frustrated Danny, who's going to be even angrier once he realizes he's the only one being kept from Scout now. Danny just wants to spend some time with his little sister, so the latest Scout news is going to hit hard. Jason will no doubt be furious on Danny's behalf, and could end up confronting Drew at some point. Seeing how hurt Danny is could motivate Jason to launch a showdown with Drew soon enough. Jason may voice his outrage and remind Drew that he warned him not to use Danny to mess with him. That's clearly what Drew's doing, so this whole restraining order situation is getting worse and is only going to add to Jason's fury. Jason seems poised to unleash his wrath on Drew sooner or later, so some heated scenes may be in the works. Drew's got a lot on his plate when it comes to trying to get Willow Tate, Caitlin McMullen, out of prison, but he may make time for some Jason conflict in the coming episodes. General Hospital spoilers say Danny might take drastic action to see Scout if he's kept apart from her for too long. The sultry, deceptive air of Port Charles has always been a breeding ground for conflict, a place where familial bonds are both a shield and a weapon. But in the coming days, the city's very foundations will tremble as a long-dormant fault line erupts, not between sworn enemies, but between two men who once shared a brotherhood forged in fire and memory. The catalyst? An act of pure, calculated desperation from Drew Cain that places the most innocent of lives directly in the crosshairs. This isn't just a spoiler, it's a promise of an impending storm. Drew's ice-cold move regarding young Danny Lansing is the spark that finally, and irrevocably, summons the full, unbridled wrath of Jason Morgan, setting the stage for a fierce brother face-off that will redefine their relationship for years to come. To understand the seismic nature of this confrontation, one must first appreciate the complex and fractured history these two men share. Drew and Jason are doppelgangers, twins separated at birth, their lives a tangled web of mistaken identity and stolen years. For a time, Drew even was Jason, his mind imprinted with Jason's memories, his heart beating with a borrowed love for Sam McCall and a protective, paternal instinct for her children, including Danny, the son Jason believed was his. When Jason returned from the dead, it was to a world that had moved on, a family that had learned to live without him. The process of untangling their lives has been agonizingly slow, a delicate dance of ceding territory and redefining roles. Drew, for his part, has tried to do the right thing. He stepped back from Sam, he relinquished his place in Danny's life as a father figure, and he attempted to build a new future with Carly. But Drew Cain is a man who has lost everything, multiple times over. He lost his childhood, his identity, his freedom, and now, the family he once held dear. This accumulation of loss has festered, transforming the once optimistic hero into a man capable of a colder, more strategic kind of warfare. His recent political ambitions, fueled by a desire for power and legitimacy, have put him on a collision course with almost everyone in his life, but none more so than Jason. The crux of the coming maelstrom lies with Danny Lansing. To Jason, Danny is his son. The bond is primal, a cornerstone of his identity as a father, a role he cherishes far more deeply than his reputation as Port Charles's most formidable enforcer. Jason's love for his children is his absolute, non-negotiable line in the sand. He has returned to a life he no longer fully fits into, but his commitment to Danny and Jake is the one constant, the North Star that guides his every move. He sees his role as their protector, their stable rock in a chaotic world. Drew, however, has a different history with the boy. For years, he was the one who tucked Danny in at night, who soothed his nightmares, who attended parent-teacher conferences. In his mind, and perhaps in the lingering echoes of Jason's own memories within him, his love for Danny is just as real, just as valid. But in the current power struggle, that love is curdling into something more possessive, more dangerous. Drew feels he is losing his influence, his voice, his very place at the table. And in a desperate bid to regain leverage, to force Jason and Carly to acknowledge his power, he makes a move so chilling it leaves the entire Quartermaine mansion gasping. The spoilers point to Drew leveraging his legal and financial resources to challenge Jason's custody or influence over Danny. This isn't a heartfelt plea to remain in the boy's life. This is a cold, hard power play. Perhaps he files a motion with the court, citing Jason's dangerous lifestyle and criminal history as a detriment to Danny's well-being. He might use his newfound political connections to bring scrutiny upon Jason, painting him as an unfit father. Or, in a move even more diabolical, he could use corporate machinations at Aurora or Yelku to financially cripple Jason, making it impossible for him to provide a stable home. He might even go directly to Sam, manipulating her fears and leveraging their shared past to persuade her that limiting Jason's access is in Danny's best interest. Whatever the specific mechanism, the intent is clear. Drew is using Danny as a pawn. He is weaponizing the child they both love to win a war that has nothing to do with him. This is the ice-cold Danny move. It's a decision born not from love, but from a deep, festering resentment and a thirst for control. It demonstrates that Drew has crossed a moral event horizon, shedding the last vestiges of the man he once was. He is no longer the victim. He has become the aggressor, and he has chosen the one target guaranteed to provoke a nuclear response. And nuclear it is. Jason Morgan's wrath is a legendary force in Port Charles. It is not loud or blustering. It is silent, precise, and utterly merciless. When Jason learns of Drew's maneuver, the air around him will grow cold. The famous stone face will harden into something truly terrifying, the blue eyes turning to chips of ice. This is not the anger of a rival or the frustration of a business opponent. This is the protective fury of a father, a primal, unstoppable force that recognizes no rules, no boundaries, and no brotherly bond. The fierce brother face-off will be the culmination of months, even years, of simmering tension. Picture the scene. The Quartermaine drawing room, a place meant for family, becomes a battlefield. Or perhaps the docks. A familiar setting for Jason's most definitive confrontations. The two brothers, mirror images of one another, stand toe-to-toe. General Hospital, GH, spoilers for Friday, October 24th, reveal that Jason Morgan, Steve Burton, will get an SOS, while Carly Spencer, Laura Wright, has some advice for Britt Westbourne, Kelly Thiebaud. Nathan West, Ryan Pavey, will also get some surprise comfort. So here's what GH fans can look forward to. In the steam room, Carly will have an awkward encounter with Britt, so that'll bring some Jason talk. Carly will think Britt needs to do something to justify Jason's faith in her, so Britt will mull over whether Carly might be right. As for Jason, it looks like he'll answer Damian Spinelli's, Bradford Anderson, SOS, and realize his pal could use some support. Spinelli will worry that James West, Gary James Fuller, could be taken away from him now that Nathan is back and eager to be a real father to the boy. The fact that Spinelli's still uneasy over the details of Nathan's return will add to his troubles, but Jason will be there for Spin in his time of need. In the meantime, Nathan will catch up with Lulu Spencer, Alexa Havens-Bruning, and most likely thank her for calling in the crash that night. Lulu will wonder how Nathan is holding up following his dramatic comeback, so he'll admit it's been hard losing years of his life. Since Lulu went through a similar situation when she was stuck in a coma, she'll suggest that she understands better than Nathan thinks. Over with Lois Chirulo, Rena Sofer, she'll tell Brooklyn Quartermaine, Amanda Seton, about an opportunity that's fallen into her lap. As a result, Brooklyn will get some updates that she finds rather bittersweet. That may be due to some news about Lois going on some sort of tour and being away for a while. Deep down, Brooklyn wants to patch things up with Lois and may wish she was sticking around so that'd be possible, even if she doesn't want to admit it. However, Brooklyn and Lois may experience another decent thaw in Friday's show, especially once Lois shares the details of her latest conversation with Giovanni Palmieri, Giovanni Mazza. At the Quartermain mansion, Veronica, Ronnie, Bard, Erica Slazak will acknowledge that she's heard some horror stories regarding Drew Kane, Cameron Matheson. Now that Drew's there to make a pitch, Ronnie may wonder why she should trust him. Drew will assure Ronnie that if she'll give him a chance, he'll prove he's on her side and can be helpful. Ronnie and Drew seem to be on the verge of a risky alliance, so stay tuned to see how this partnership will work out for them. As for Jacinda Bracken, Paige Herschel, she'll wonder if maybe Michael Corinthos, Rory Gibson, needs to find himself another alibi. Jacinda sought Michael's help disappearing again, but he pushed her to stick around and even offered to pay her to fall in love with him. Or at least fake it. General Hospital spoilers say this is part of Michael's plan to bolster his story and help Jacinda too, but it may take some convincing to get her on board. "You went after my son," Jason will state, his voice dangerously low, each word a hammer blow. There will be no question, no room for interpretation. Drew, armed with his legal justifications and a chest full of his own grievances, will stand his ground. "I'm thinking of what's best for him, Jason. Something you're incapable of doing when your entire life is a war zone. You think you can just come back and play house after everything that's happened? After everything you've done?" This is where the true conflict is laid bare. It's not just about Danny. It's about identity, legacy, and the right to a future. Drew sees himself as the civilized, legitimate alternative, the man who can provide a safe, normal life. Jason represents the brutal, criminal past that he believes will inevitably destroy everything it touches. Jason's retort will be simple, devastating, and rooted in an unshakable truth. "I am his father. You are the one using him to get to me. There is nothing more dangerous to him than that." The confrontation will be fierce, both verbally and, inevitably, physically. This won't be a simple fistfight. It will be a brutal, no-holds-barred brawl where years of resentment, jealousy, and pain are finally exorcised with every punch thrown. It's a battle for dominance, for the right to be the protector, the patriarch, the real Drew Kane, Cassadine Quartermain, whatever name they choose to fight under. The fallout from this brotherly war will be immense and will ripple across the entire canvas of General Hospital. The fracture of a bond, any lingering pretense of brotherhood between Drew and Jason will be annihilated. They will become permanent adversaries, their relationship irreparably broken. This creates a new, powerful axis of conflict in Port Charles, one that pits family against family in a way not seen since the heyday of the Cassadine and Quartermain feuds. Carly's divided loyalty, Carly, ever the epicenter of turmoil, will be torn asunder. Her history with Jason is the defining relationship of her life, a soul-deep connection that transcends romance. But her love for Drew is real, and she has championed his new, harder edge. Seeing him cross this unforgivable line will force her to choose, and her decision will reshape her future and the dynamics of both her personal and professional life. Sam's maternal fury. Sam will not stand idly by while her son is used as a bargaining chip. She will likely unleash a fury of her own on Drew, making it unequivocally clear that his actions have cost him any remaining goodwill or affection she held for him. She will align firmly with Jason, solidifying their co-parenting unit and creating a united front against Drew's aggression. The Quartermain dynasty at war. The family will be forced to pick sides. Monica, torn between her two sons, will be heartbroken. Ned, Olivia, and Brooklyn will be drawn into the conflict, potentially splitting Yelku and the family fortune down the middle. Drew's power play could trigger a corporate civil war to mirror the personal one. The rebirth of Stone Cold Jason. The world has been trying to tame Jason Morgan, to integrate him into a life of boardrooms and civility. This event will prove that is impossible. Drew's cold move will summon the full, Fearsome, stone cold, Jason Morgan back to the forefront. The man who eliminates threats with ruthless efficiency will be unleashed, and Port Charles will remember why his name is spoken with a mixture of fear and respect. In the end, Drew's ice-cold move regarding Danny is a catastrophic miscalculation. He believed he was playing a game of high-stakes chess, but he failed to realize that Jason doesn't play games. Jason ends them. By bringing the war to Jason's son, Drew has not only earned his brother's eternal wrath, but has also fundamentally altered the balance of power in Port Charles. He has created the one enemy he can never hope to defeat, an enemy who is now fighting with the white-hot fury of a father whose child has been threatened. The fierce brother face-off is more than just a dramatic showdown. It is the point of no return, a brutal, heartbreaking testament to the fact that in Port Charles, the most devastating wars are always fought within the family. General Hospital, GH. Spoilers hint that Carly Spencer, Laura Wright, may have a fake Jason Morgan, Steve Burton, meltdown and betray her BFF to dupe Jack Brennan, Chris McKenna.